Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I am so excited to be here with you again. And man, I wanted to give a little bit of like some mindless intro, but we both know that I can't do that. So we're just going to launch full send into it because there are certain time periods in my life that I go through where I recognize that I'm being taught a specific lesson for that season. And most of them I come on here and I yap and I share with you. And recently, I it's a good one. Like it's a good lesson. I have been put in so many situations where I'm realizing that I only need to like say what I want and it's delivered. And I'm not kidding. I've had so many situations recently that where I've shifted and been like, okay, I'm ready for this. I want this. It comes to me on this beautiful little cloud of magic and says, here you go. This is exactly what you want. And this kind of started when I was in Italy and I shared that whole episode, how like the universe just kept surprising me with the best experiences. And so I don't want to make the focus of the episode this because, and I might even cut this out. I don't know. I don't know how much I'm ready to share. I am very private about my dating life, and I probably will be forever. I'm so public about so many other things. Like, you guys get access to basically everything else, but always been very private about that. And recently, I felt the shift after my last relationship ended. I took a year to heal, to work on myself, to grow, and honestly, to really get space because I think I shared this before. I had been basically in like chronic relationships, situationships, talking to people, going on dates, whatever, since I was in high school. Like I'd never taken an extended period of time where I'd said, I'm going to just do me. I'm just going to focus on me, focus on doing what I want to do and not have another person be in the picture in any capacity whatsoever. So that's what I've been doing over the past year. And it was great. And it was so necessary. And I'm so happy that I did that. I'm so happy that I went on that journey of being single, not dating, being celibate. Like it was such a gift. And it allowed me to focus into what do I want to create? What do I want to build? And that's what somatic was birthed out of. And my whole kind of identity restructure and coming more into myself and who I am, like it was a great time. But recently, I've been feeling like, I don't know, I'm just like, I'm ready. And at first it was, okay, well, I'm just open. And then I was like, you know what? No, I feel that I have the space and the capacity in the room for dating, not necessarily jumping into a full-blown relationship. I don't, that is something that I'm still not quite in this space for. But just dating, just like meeting new people, spending time, having fun. And so I have been. So I've been going on dates again. I say going on dates. I've been on two, like in the past month. In the past 30 days, I've been on two dates. Um, and both were great. So much fun, high vibes all around. And it was just so funny because it was like as soon as I accepted and put that intention out there that I'm just open, not looking, just open, it just came right in. It was like, here you go. And this is happening in a couple of other things that are in the works in my life that I will share when it is the time and place. Can't quite do it yet because I don't believe in sharing things until they're ready, until they come to fruition. I do believe there are evil eyes, and I've learned that things that I don't want messed with, I keep that on lock. So, other things in the works, not sharing yet, will when they're solidified, will when they can't be messed up by some people that I know that keep tabs and listen. That's all I'm going to say on that. But I do find it interesting too, where in the work that I'm doing, the more that I'm learning about the different patterns, the different things, the different reoccurring themes of people's lives, the more that I'm starting to understand how those things play out in not only the work that I do with my coaching clients, the work that I do in somatic, but also just conversations I'm having with friends. I'm noticing that a lot of us are unintentionally blocking our own blessings. We're blocking our own gifts from the universe, never intentionally. Like, not a single one of us, unless you're crazy, is sitting there like, you know what? I would love to receive more money. I would love to receive this dream partnership. I would love to receive this attention or this, like, anything that it is. No one's sitting there intentionally being like, you know what, though, I'm going to pass. There's always something under the surface that causes you to feel like, why? Like, why can't I get past this? And a lot of times people are aware of it. If you've done any kind of healing work on yourself, which, let's be honest, you would not be listening to this if you hadn't. I know my friends are very self-aware and very understanding of, the kind of patterns that tend to play out in their lives. So for most of us, and I'll put myself in this category as well, because I sure as fuck don't have everything figured out. For most of us, there is some kind of block that we want to overcome, but we don't know how. And this is why I think the work that I do with people through the body, getting these patterns to complete out of the body, is so important, because it's not that you don't understand it. You can understand all of your trauma patterns, all of your flaws, all of the different things that you've adapted to, until the what's the saying? Until the cows come home. I was gonna go with that one, but that's a little too Tennessee for me. You can understand it all day long, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's changing. And I was talking with a friend recently where, we identified together some blocks that were present, some things that, and they were aware of it. They were so aware of what the patterns were and why they started and what they were doing and how much it was a form of sabotage to not fix these things. But then they were like, Sarah, I don't know how. I don't know what I need to do. And I think that's a story for so many of us. And we get so stuck on these survival patterns because, I've said it before, we're going to repeat it again, because it is truly the root of the problem. Your brain is hardwired to keep you safe. Your brain associates familiarity with safety, because this is old wiring. This is wiring that's been around since the caveman days. We haven't evolved, our brains haven't evolved in their hardwiring to understand that you're not being chased by a bear, you're just asking someone out when you typically go avoidant. Like, it doesn't know the difference. So because of that, our brains go back into that default mode of whatever I haven't experienced before is unsafe, therefore I'm going to stay all the way over here. Your brain's hardwired for safety. You can never undo that. But you can transmute it. You can create new pathways that communicate to your brain what is actually safe. And to some extent, doing anything new is going to feel a little unsafe to your mind. It's going to feel a little daunting. It's going to feel a little nerve-wracking. Anxiety and excitement are the same emotions. They come from the same space within the body. It's the same reaction. We just classify them differently. And we base it on what we think is good versus bad. So when you have anxiety about something, you are anxious about the new of that situation or the unknown about that situation. When you have excitement about something, you are excited about the unknown of that situation. It's the same thing. It's the emotional response of the unknown. We just choose to classify it in whatever lens that we've experienced life through. So when there is something that you want, your brain goes into this mode of, we don't know what this is, it's unfamiliar, so we're going to stop this right now, and we're going to go back to here where we know that it's safe, because we know what this is. Even if it's the relationship or the friendship or the situation or where you live or your job or whatever it is that you don't like, that you know is keeping you in this smaller, confined version of yourself, even though you know those things, it doesn't matter because your brain thinks that those things are safe because that's what it knows. So, what do we do about this? Well, we need to first identify. Awareness is always the first step. You can't change something until you're aware of it. Until you're aware of the pattern and aware of where this comes out. For most of us, you already know. Like my friend, you know what you do, you know why you do it. You even know why that trauma response formed or why that survival pattern formed, but you don't know how to get past it. You don't know how to undo it. And I wish there was a one sentence simple answer that I could give that would fix all the problems, but unfortunately, that's not the way that this works. It is in identifying where it lives within your body that is going to help you transmute it. So first is awareness in the mind. And I'm going to use a made up scenario for this because I don't want to pick on anyone. But let's say you are somebody who, as much as you want a loving, beautiful, connected relationship, you are aware that you often either don't fully give yourself when you are in a relationship, or you sabotage and you do things or you engage in behaviors that you know are going to create division, disconnection, and a rift between the two of you. This is common for so many people. So many of us are doing it, and so many people are not aware. So, for those of you who are aware, good job. Step one, you consciously understand, okay, when I'm in a relationship, tend to sabotage. I tend to do things that I know are going to create division between me and this person that I desperately want a deep, healthy connection with. I want to be open. I want to be honest. I want to be so there with them. I want to have this dynamic where it's like us against the world, but I don't facilitate that because I'm afraid. I'm afraid of step two, identifying where this pattern originated. Okay. I'm afraid of rejection. I'm afraid of fully giving myself to somebody, fully allowing them to see all of me, all of my shadows, all of my shames, the thing about myself that I don't necessarily like, because if I don't like it, how could they? There's no way they could like something about me that I don't even like about myself. So, step two is that understanding of why I do this. Okay, so number one, we have the behavior. Number two, we have the origin pattern. Number three, we go into where did I learn this? So if I know that I am actually afraid of being closely connected with somebody because I don't want them to see who I truly am because I carry shame and I don't like who I truly am, where did I learn that behavior? Where did I first learn that? Where was I first taught that? Whose voice does that sound like? And if you dig even deeper there, oftentimes it comes back to familial patterns. It comes back to familial relationships. And for a lot of you, I can't say this, but for a lot of you, your parents were great and they did their best and they loved you and they took care of you and they did the best that they possibly could. But that doesn't mean that they didn't help create these survival patterns and these trauma responses into you. You can hold both. You can understand that they did their best and give them love and give them credit for that. And also understand that there was an area over here that they didn't know how to navigate or deal with in the proper way. They were probably just repeating their familial patterns. And so then you carried this generational trauma of being rejected for your true self. So if you ever had a parent that was hypercritical, put a lot of pressure on you to achieve straight A's or be the best in all of these sports or be very active or be an exceptional version of you with not a lot of room to make mistakes. Or maybe you only felt seen or loved when you were doing great. when you were exceeding in all of these areas, when you were shining bright and being the best version of yourself. There's so many different origin sources for this pattern, but the most common are typically either that there was the external and internal pressure to be the golden child, and you associated being the golden child with survival, or you were only given love or attention when you were being the golden child and you were being good and you were being a people pleaser and you were silencing your needs, et cetera, et cetera. So that was the origin source of where that pattern formed. Step 4 is to identify when you go back into that feeling, when you go back into, okay, I sabotage because I'm afraid of being truly seen. I'm afraid of being truly seen because I'm afraid of being rejected when I'm truly seen. I'm afraid of being rejected when I'm truly seen because I never had safety communicated to me. I never had love communicated to me when I was my full self. So I've hidden parts away so that they can't be rejected. Step 4, where do I feel this in my body? Where do you feel it? Where does it come up? For everyone, it's a little bit different. When I've worked with clients before, a lot of it is in the chest, and it'll be kind of this hunching in. This, if you're watching on video, you can see this hunching in, this pulling in of your chest to protect your heart center, to protect your feeling, to protect your emotion. Or it can manifest in the shoulders, where you feel that there's shoulder pain, that there's this weight of responsibility on you, that you have to carry everything, that there's a burden. Or it can be in your jaw, where I've worked with some people who've experienced like TMJ, a lot of TMJ. That, in a somatic sense, can originate from never truly speaking your mind, never truly advocating for your needs, always kind of going with what everyone else wanted from you, but not what you actually wanted for yourself. There's so many areas of the body this can live in, but a practice you can do is to identify which space in the body it lives in. And when you have that, when you have the understanding of where it is being felt within your system, that is where you start to have the power to change it. So you move from awareness of the mind to awareness within the body. This is the whole core of what somatic work is about. This is the whole core of why I got into this work, because I was so good at intellectualizing everything that had ever happened to me. I could intellectualize. I could tell you the second I did something, why I did it and where it came from and why I had that pattern and all of the above. I could write you a whole dissertation on it, but that didn't mean shit. It just meant I was really good at understanding, but I wasn't good at feeling. When you tap back into feeling your life through your body, the good and the bad, that's where your true power lies. That's where you can get these stories to stop living in your mind and start completing in your body. And this can manifest in so many different ways. There's so many subconscious blocks that people don't realize. It's just your mind trying to keep you safe. That's its number one job. And it doesn't know that you're okay. It doesn't know that you grew up. It doesn't know that you're not some little scared 6-year-old kid that is afraid to have big feelings because that's going to upset your mom or your dad. It doesn't know that you're 10 years old running on the soccer field freaking out because what if you don't score this goal? And then all of a sudden you're not going to get praise on the way home, or you're not going to get to go to McDonald's and get an ice cream, or you're not going to be given a trophy, and that will upset mom and dad. So I can't do that. It doesn't know that you grew up and that you're an adult and that you have autonomy and that you have self-confidence and that you don't worry about what your parents think about you. At least I hope not. I hope some of those burdens have been released over the years. And so it's just doing its job trying to protect you by keeping you stuck, by keeping you blocked, by continuing to facilitate an environment where you never stray outside of the bounds of safety. And you have the power to change that. And you have the power to communicate to your brain through your body, not through your understanding, but through your body, that things are different now. Because that's where all of these things are living. They're living in your system, they're living in your soma, in your body. So when you start to work to get them out, that's when you start to feel the difference. And simple things, I shared this briefly on social media this week, simple things that help you bring yourself back to your body, it's all helpful. It's all going to be like simple acts where in all of your movements throughout your day to day, as often as you can tune into your body, that's always going to be helpful. As many times as you can reconnect to your body, because we experience so much of our lives through our minds instead of feeling through our body, even though our body is the one feeling everything. I had an experience recently where I've talked about this a couple of times. My intuition is so dead on at this point. Like I don't even have to think something. I just feel it and I know it's going on. And I can't go into details. I wish I could, but I can't. But I had a situation recently where my intuition, at the moment that I was making a decision, it said no, but I had already said yes. I didn't catch it in time. Like right before the words came out of my mouth, yes, my mind said, mm-mm. My intuition said, mm-mm, girl, no. And me, who's so good at this work, who does this for a living, who works with people on this same thing, I didn't say no. I didn't listen to that intuition and shift it in that moment. This work is never done. You don't wake up one day and you're magically perfect. It's always a work in progress. And I noticed it and I went, oh, I wish I'd just been like, you know what? Actually, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm going to respectfully decline. And I didn't. And because of that, there was something that happened afterwards that it wasn't horrible, but it was an inconvenience. And I was like, man, if I had just listened to that, I wouldn't have had to go through this. And all is fine and all is well. But it is interesting how when you get really good at connecting with your body talks all the time. It's just constantly yapping. You thought I was a yapper? Wait until I wish you could just hear how often my body is giving me signals throughout the day of what it wants, what it needs, what experiences I'm supposed to have. It is constant. It is constantly speaking. And I firmly believe that my life has been at a pretty big up level because of that, because I have in 90% of the situations that I'm put in, I trusted my gut and said, you know what? This isn't right. Or, yeah, this is an absolute yes. It needs to be so deeply felt in your body because your mind, you have to remember this, your mind can't make rational decisions, especially when it's in a place of fear, but your body will always speak. Your body will always speak truth, even when your mind is clouded by fear, because when your brain starts to get into territory that is unfamiliar, that amygdala, that fear center turns on. And when that turns on, your prefrontal cortex turns off. This is a very simplistic way of putting it. But when you are overcome by fear, you can't think logically. You can't think critically. It is a deeply ingrained survival pattern that is necessary. It's so necessary. It's the part of your brain that says, we're acting now. Because if you're standing face to face with a saber-toothed tiger that wants to eat you, you're not going to logically go, what do I do in this situation? What action steps am I going to take? What is the best sound way to preserve myself? No, your amygdala kicks on and goes, bitch, run, or bitch, play dead. Or you go into one of the classic fight, flight, freeze, or fawn responses. It's such a gift that we have that. I mean, how incredible that our bodies are built this way, that they're designed this way, that they work this way. So cool. But your body thinks that that person that you don't want to say no to is a saber-toothed tiger. It thinks that it is in so much danger, which is why you people please, or why you fight, or why you say, you know what, I'm going to run away from this. I don't feel good in this. And it's never conscious. It's always subconscious because it's not the logical part of your brain that's working. It is the illogical part of your brain that is running that show. So don't beat yourself up for continuing in these patterns. Don't beat yourself up for feeling like just because you're aware of it, you don't know how to change it. You need to work within your body to make these changes. Your body needs to be the one that feels so that you can release these blocks, so that you can remove the patterns that communicate to your subconscious that we're in danger. You're not in danger. Your brain just doesn't know that. It thinks you are. It thinks that the amount of money that you would feel best with is unsafe because you haven't experienced it before. It thinks that the relationship with a safe, secure person is actually something that's going to be detrimental to you because you've never had it before. It only knows how to repeat patterns until you break it, until you change it, until you create new neural pathways that facilitate the life that you actually want and more than likely actually deserve. But you have to do the work. You have to do the tapping in. You have to do the tuning in. You have to be the one that's connecting back to your body going, where do I feel this? Where did I start to feel this? Has the feeling changed? Has it moved over the years? What does that mean? Why does it live there? Start getting curious. Awareness is so huge for somatic work. It's like exercise. The more you do it, the better you get. The more that you become aware of where things live in your body, the more you become aware of when your body speaks and how it speaks and what it says and what it means and what it's communicating to you, the better you get at it, the stronger it gets. And that's all your body has wanted all of these years. It's wanted you to hear it. It's wanted you to hear, to feel, to understand the emotions that have probably never been given the proper space to be seen before, or be heard before, or be felt before. I have shared that this was my experience for so many years. I wasn't allowed to feel anything other than happy and joyful. And that was constantly reinforced. I was called Sweet Sarah because I was just so sweet and kind all the time. And meanwhile, the whole time I was going through the most horrendous abuse and just burying it because I couldn't dare rock the boat that held my safety. I couldn't dare communicate what was going on. I had to bury it. And when I finally let my body, when I finally started to feel, where is this pain living? Where is this trauma living? What is the emotion? What is it saying? What does it want me to hear? It was rage. And it was so fucking cool. It was the best. It felt like a drug. It felt like this sense of euphoria when I finally stopped shaming my rage and let myself feel it all. And I've gotten really good at it now. Now I don't people please. I advocate for my needs. I actually have gotten to see it play out in a couple different situations recently. That was really cool, where I didn't feel any shame or guilt asking for what I needed. I felt power. I felt authority. I felt like I deserved it. And I had no issues with it. And then I had the thought, man, if only I could have been doing this the whole time. But we can only do the best with what we know in that moment. And so I hope that this was helpful and encouraging to you to start understanding, not just intellectualizing why you do the things you do, but start understanding why your blocks are occurring, what they're trying to protect you from, and where they're living in your system. Start getting curious about those things. Start tapping in and tuning in and hearing and recognizing and going, okay, I completely hear what you're trying to say. You're not going to do it perfect. You are not going to do it perfectly. And that's okay. Every little bit counts. When you first start working out, you don't go to the gym. Well, actually, I kind of did. I was a little bit of a psycho. But typically when you first start working out, you don't know what you're doing, but you start trying. You start driving, you start going there, you start showing up, and you're a little awkward on the machines, and you kind of are looking around at other people being like, well, what is he doing? How is he doing that? How's she doing that? And then one day you get to the point where you are the pro and people are coming up to you asking you how to use a machine. And that happened to me recently, and I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, I made it. I finally look like a cool gym girl after like years of weightlifting and working out. But this is the same thing. This work is the same thing. You're not going to get it done perfectly overnight, but every single little time you try to just tune into your body, hear your body, understand what it's saying, you're getting better at it. You're exercising that muscle that's been dormant for a long time. You are coming out of the fear side of the brain and going into the understanding side. You're coming out of your fear and your trauma responses being the one that runs the show. And you can make conscious decisions as the adult version of you, as the real form of you, not as the scared, reactive little kid that's inside of you living in your grown adult body, saying, hey, remember last time we did this? It was scary. This happened. We're not doing that again. That's not how your life should be lived. And so many people are unknowingly sabotaging everything that they want because they don't know how to break these patterns. They don't know how to start experiencing life through their body, to start getting these patterns and these feelings out of their system somatically. I created an assessment where you can discover your default protection mode. Series of multiple choice questions takes under a minute to answer. And after you answer, I will send you an email that goes over what your default protection mode is and a somatic exercise that you can try to start implementing in real time, very easy one that can help you come out of that. So if you want to take it, please click the link below in the show notes or the link in my Instagram bio. I'm going to be sharing it again this week because I actually had a couple people take it, and it was really cool to go through and see their answers and see the patterns and then send them not just the results, but a way that they can transmute and transform that energy through the body. So I'm so excited. Okay. This was such a great episode. I'm so excited for your journey, for your future, for putting this into practice. I would love to hear if you listen to this episode, if you feel it connected, if you feel that it resonated, and if you want to share any of your experience, I would love, please send me a DM. Please email me, whatever is your favorite mode of communication. I stay pretty up to date with those things. And as always, I love you. I'm here for you. I believe in you. I know that you can do this. And I will talk to you next week.